Yes. Okay. I am recording right now. The recording is starting now.
Yes,
Hello.
will
Uh,
be recorded.
Welcome to our human werewolf meeting. I will actually post this one probably today, as well as the last one that I was involved in. That I'm. What was it? What was? Oh, countries. Yeah, the countries one still also needs to be posted. Squid, don't post. Don't spam emotes during the meeting. Jax, you either. Um, Gross ass. Oh, we're getting more cats in the
It's
corner.
over.
It's over. Hey, meeting chat. How dare you, Squid? All right, so we are locked in. It's the hour, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. If you're late, sucks.
Yeah, we're kind of blast through this.
Yeah,
Humans aren't new. Werewolves are adjusted, so not exactly new concepts today.
yep. All right, let's get started. We're gonna start with humans. So, bum ba dum. You get to do humans. I'll do werewolves. Go forth.
Okay, so same restrictions as always. Can't drink blood. Blood potions, no good. We did increase what you can't use this season. There will be no creature, mutant, corrupted, or Draculan. No blood magic, which includes Dominator, Bloodmend. No shapeshifting. Still 2 schools of magic. This one may change. We're still talking about some things we want to do with the vampiric steed, and if we're gonna have a quest for it or not this season. It may be unlocked at season start, considering vampires have bat form off rip and werewolves have enhanced wolf form off rip. Still being discussed, but this one's pending change. And of course, you must look vaguely human. No weird purple eyes. No things that make you glow in the night. Of course, you're going to take a bunch of reductions. You better benefit somehow, obviously. No garlic pain, no sunlight pain, no silver pain. Holy resist. I guess this would be light resist this season, huh?
Oh, well, I mean, yeah, light resist.
Yeah, light resist.
Damage. Sorry.
You'll get your access to bottle your blood if you decide to sell it like some of you have in the past. This season, there will be a ritual option to change one of your or both of your chosen magic schools this season, and everybody, instead of starting at a random die roll, we've standardized it. You'll start somewhere between 30 and 39, but everyone starts there, so everyone starts at the same spot, and we've redone some of the quests. We'll publish those soon if they're not already published. We might have put them on the
I believe they're
website.
at the bottom of the human section.
Ah,
It is worth
so
noting with the two magic schools, you can still only have 2 at a time. So if you start with like Chaos and Frost, and then you want to transition Frost into Storm, then once you're done with that process, you'll have Chaos and Storm. You will not still have access to Frost. Humans are still limited to 2 total.
and this season, you will be one of the only 2 races that can use unholy magic.
Yay! Okay. No blood drain. Party.
Mortality contract's not new, except we changed how long you have to get wounded because we did have a sad human die last season because they were playing at 4 a.m. one day and went down and couldn't get Mat RP on their last life. And so we've adjusted it. Now you'll have 3 real days to get Mat RP from a doctor. You must get it from a doctor specialized character. They have commands. And if you do not get it from someone who is a doctor, your blood pool will simply not refill. You will be dead, we will know.
Yay.
And yeah, so that's it. We said it at the MIT meeting, but for those who weren't there, the corrupted blood we are using as phys for the humans have something funky going on is not the same as what the corrupted blood in Oakvale is. For our references, you'll probably hear us refer to it as sap blood, so that people know that it's not the venom sap blood. And then corrupted will actually refer to what's happening with humans, just for now.
Have a way to like add another blood type, so we got to work with what we got. We're using the purple.
Yeah.
Please don't go on an adventure or talk in characters as though these humans smell like they're Megara related. It's in lore. They're completely utterly unrelated. Do we want to establish a timeline for how for the pace on that plot?
Oh, yeah, I can talk about that a little bit.
Mhm.
So, the plan is the plot is going to be pretty low stakes, low impact. If you don't want to interact, you don't have to. Once the community at large has figured out what's going on and how to stop it, that will be made public, and that will all be wrapped up before the Lucille unlock, or culminate at the Lucille unlock, when everybody gets access to blood mixing anyway. This is not a full season long plot. This is just something you can choose to interact with as a human. It's there for extra flavor. In terms of when it started, it didn't affect all humans, but it did start 5 years ago.
As far as individual human culture goes, you've got pretty much free reign. The world's a big place. Most countries are human dominated, with the exception of Caladran. So we're not going to get into human culture because it's going to vary so aggressively much off of where you are. So if you have questions about specific countries, open an RPO ticket, and the admin that
Wrote the country can
Yeah.
probably fill you in, because there's no universal human country. They are wide, diverse, and very strange.
Yep. Alrighty. Moving on to werewolves.
Doggos.
Dogs! So you want to be a furry. So benefits to being a werewolf: you can shapeshift into the big two-legged werewolf. Your werewolf form overrides what is normally your bear transformation. You have no blood drain. You also don't drink blood potions, obviously. You're locked to 100% creature as your primary blood type, though you can do quests in the latter half of the season to unlock a secondary blood type like warrior or scholar or something. But creature will always be your primary if you choose werewolf. You may use elemental, druidic, storm, and frost. Those are your 4 schools. If you want to use elemental or druidic, you do have to take it as a specialty. You don't just get them off the rip. But storm and frost you'll be able to just use willy-nilly. Restriction-wise, no horses. They're scared of you. You can't turn into a frog, a rat, or a bat. You cannot use chaos, illusion, shadow, light, blood, or unholy, and your big wolf is only available at night. The mortality contract: your blood pool decreases by 10% with every minor injury, and then a critical injury occurs. You can have up to 9 critical injuries before you die. You do not have to get med RP to get rid of your critical injury, but considering your critical injury gives you a nasty little debuff that'll make doing everything harder, you can go to the doctor and get it removed early, but you can also choose to suffer in pain. And you can use the command to check your mortality status at any time. So, let's talk about the bite sickness. So the bite sickness is, I'm just gonna stack all these cats in the corner because they're in the way. Yeah, you can meow meow all you want. You're stuck. All right, so the bite sickness is given by a player werewolf or an NPC werewolf. You cannot be turned by werewolves in Gracefall. Not possible. They don't like you. They don't bite you hard enough or something. Doesn't matter. You can't get turned by dying to a werewolf in Gracefall. That'd be dumb. So you must sustain a critical injury from a werewolf. You cannot romantically sit in front of a fire and get nibbled on a little bit and then become a werewolf. It's violent, it's ill, you have a 1/3 chance of dying no matter how you go about the process, and it should be RP'd as such. Making the choice to bite someone and potentially turn them into a werewolf has a 1/3 chance of killing them, 1/3 chance of turning them into a werewolf, and 1/3 chance that doesn't do anything and they just get better and they're fine. It is worth noting that people that have survived the bite once are likely to survive it if they get it again, and are very unlikely to ever be turned. So if you've gotten the bite sickness in the past, it's sort of like you're immunized to the flu now, and you can get the flu again, but you probably won't die from it, sort of deal. So the bite site should be super gross, nasty, leaking pus and stuff. Fever, cough, body ache, shakes. It's like you got the flu. It lasts 3 in-game days or 3 hours in real life. So 3 full day-night cycles. If you do decide to, because it's always a player choice, even though in lore it's a 1/3 chance, it's up to you whether you die, are fine, or become a werewolf. If you decide to go werewolf, you have to wait until the next blood moon after the bite sickness is done. So if day 2 of your bite sickness is a blood moon, it's just a bad time. Your fever probably gets worse. It probably fucking sucks. But you wouldn't transform for the first time until the next blood moon following the sickness being complete. Is the stream funky for anyone else?
No, I just had to click in and out of it real quick.
Is it fine?
It did like minimize itself, but as long as I clicked back in and it was fine for me.
Okay, okay. Well, the recording will be fine.
Assuming
so.
you're still on the bite sickness portion.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving along. Werewolf RP overview. So the closer you are to the origin wolves, the stronger your instincts are. So if you're like 10 bites removed, you're probably fine. You're probably just a guy that turns into a dog sometime. If you were bitten by an origin wolf, that fucking works, and you probably are struggling with your instincts. It's up to you how close or how far you are to an origin wolf, but just like how we don't allow players to be directly related to anyone that we have named in the lore, such as the progenitor or Dracula or Quincy, you cannot have a personal relationship with an origin wolf, even if they turned you. If they turned you, it's assumed that they bit you and then fucked off. You don't know them. They're not a character you can name in your backstory because they are very specific named characters in lore, even though the names aren't public. So don't make up your own origin wolves, please. The younger you are as a werewolf, not in age, but in time as werewolf, the harder it is to be in control of your instincts, obviously. It's with time and practice, you get better at it. Everyone everywhere wants to kill you. There's no single country that's really a safe haven for werewolves, and it should be RP'd as such. You could be sketched out, everyone everywhere wants to murder you. The Vampire Hunters Guild really wants to murder you. Pax tends toward hostility with unfamiliar wolves, unfamiliar people. They've got real big sense of stranger danger. Werewolves are territorial over people, places, and things that they care about. It's theirs. And they do have a drive to turn the humans that they are friends, families, or lovers of. So people that you have close emotional connections with, you will have an instinctual drive to turn them and make them a part of your pack bonds, despite the risks that attempting to turn somebody has. Your house, especially, you should be very territorial about your house. That's your territory. You love the moon. She's so beautiful. You just want to frolic under her moonlight. You love her. You love the moon. Whether or not there's any unifying like faith around the moon, werewolves are too new for that. If you want to start one, go forth. And then I'll get into pack bonds on the next slide. So pack bonds. Oh, I love that this isn't centered. Go me. So pack bonds are a way to verify that the wolf on the other end is alive. They're a source of comfort and community. They generate intense feelings of loyalty and togetherness. They generate a desire to be close to the wolves on the other end. They wither slowly but surely if the two werewolves don't spend any time together. So if you're separated for like 6 months, that bond will slowly disintegrate until it's gone. And then it's severed if one of them dies. I love that I spelled one wrong. Proofreading is my passion, guys. They cannot be used to convey emotions, moods, words, feelings, images, etc. Be easily broken, so you can't just like hand wave, they get broken with magic. It would be like an involved ritual. This is hard to do. These are not flimsy. And time apart, it's not like you haven't spoken to them in a real life week. Our bond is in danger. It might be weakening, but it should take time for them to disintegrate as well. They cannot be formed instantaneously. No forming it overnight. It should be a couple of in real life days minimum to form a pack bond. You can only form a pack bond with werewolves. You cannot form them one-sided or otherwise with human, mitts, talam, or vampires. Full stop. Doesn't happen. Doesn't work that way. And they don't persist through death. You don't have like a frayed bond or something. It's just fucking gone when they die. You can tell that they're dead though, because it's gone just like that. Alrighty. So Naku, what's the werewolf subplot? They want you to fucking die. The VHD is out for your little dog butt. They want to kill you really, really hard. The pace of discovering as a werewolf why the VHD is gunning for your head at the moment, even harder than they're gunning for vampires. Find out in character. Teehee. And that's it. So we can go back into our Q&A.
I answered some questions while you were gone, so I'll just brush through them for the recording anyway. Humans don't have a identifiable smell that's universal. Humans know something's wrong, but I wouldn't call it a sickness. No pet emote. You can use point and wave your mouse back and forth like everyone else. You will not have a way to adjust your blood as a werewolf. I'll discuss that with Blair. He might be able to rig up the same thing that Mets have. I don't. Again, same answer here for the most part. Can humans start with elemental or druidic magic? I don't know if he's finished that part of the mod. It might be a build towards it thing. Can you have somebody else write on your behalf for quests? The answer is yes, but ask for specifics in your ticket. Is it possible through RP for humans to get a blood type like mutant? Yes, open a ticket. And then this is where I stop. So, do werewolves have good fur coat care habits?
That depends on the werewolf. If you want to be a werewolf with good hygiene, that's up to you. If you want to be a werewolf with bad hygiene, that's also up to you. That's not something that will dictate. That could vary from like pack to pack. Just make it up yourself. Did
I
Human Society
don't.
have a name for the area that is now the Cursed Forest before it transformed? Was it just referred to as the mountains over there? It was just a part of the Hollowed Mountains. They weren't peaks of any particular, like, importance. So it's just part of the Hollowed Mountains.
I would argue on this one that a vampire wouldn't bite you if they could smell a werewolf bite, but I don't. What are your thoughts on that one?
So, as was established during the MIT meeting, werewolves are categorically the shittiest nutrients. Eating a werewolf, and I'll just post the image we have for this, eating a werewolf is stinky bad. Not only do they taste bad, you don't get anything out of it. So they're not gonna like drain a werewolf. That'd be dumb. That'd
Well,
just be like
this is
drinking sludge.
specifically if you're being turned by both at the same time, or like, would that even happen? Could that happen?
No, because in
Like
order to turn into werewolves, do not die upon turn. They survive through the bite sickness and become a werewolf. To become a vampire, you have to die with a vampire's blood in your system. So you'd either die and become a vampire potentially, or you could survive and I guess turn into a werewolf following the bite sickness. But categorically, the transformations are they could not occur at the same time because you have to survive to become a werewolf and you have to die to become a vampire.
Can humans learn more than two? You can just replace one of your existing two with a ritual. Can humans start with light magic? Again, not sure on start, because I don't know if Blur has finished that part of the mod. I'll have to confirm it.
I believe that they can. They just have to choose it as one of their specialties, obviously.
Okay, then there's your answer.
With
Does the curse sickness need to be mentioned in the backstory somewhere? Up to you. You just know that it started happening sometime within the last 5 years for you.
As long as you don't have to include it as a specific backstory, just know that it has to have happened that way. There's no other methods of turning into a werewolf. It's not something that was optional. It's not something that can be, like, fine for anybody. You all went through it and it was horrible for everyone. Nobody was like, it was a cold. No, you were getting the shakes and vibrating out of your skin.
I think they were asking about the human plot quote thing.
Oh, that. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, words are these quests to specify. Yes, someone else can verify for you. Yeah, someone else can verify both of those for you, Craft. Can we get info on what kind of transformations druids get? What kind of spells do elemental get? That should be published soon. I don't think they're finished hashing that out. I know Nazder was working on it last I heard.
Yeah, they're getting pretty close. I won't say for certainty, so take this with a grain of salt, but druidic stuff is a lot of like nature themed things. So turning into like animals and stuff. And then elemental is a lot of like Terra's spells. A lot of what we tested with Rosenrot last season, like the genomancy stuff. So it's the spells that we have for like water, earth, fire.
If you're a human who gets turned into a werewolf, will your blood type change the creature? It'll change the creature. Are humans tuned into sigil magics? I don't. Last season, IRP'd that humans had no feeling of like the heart.
We haven't announced it publicly yet, but because of remember the change that we're making because of keys. So I'm gonna say probably not. You'll find out more why soon.
Yeah, sigil magic inherently is changing in a way. It'll kind of be up to you to. Can we just publicly announce that? Actually, I'm tired of like stomping around this one.
Yeah, I don't mind. So we are going to change it so you cannot see the location of your sigil mates at all. Full stop. Nobody can see the location of their sigil mates because with keys, we had several instances last season of people joining a sigil that they weren't technically a part of, and then quote unquote, and then just like metaing the location of other people when keys are sort of meant to be like a literal key to the house. So you will no longer be able to deduce your sigil mate's locations with on the map. So not really, because sigil magics won't really be as much of a thing. Like it's maybe like
Uh, yeah.
yeah, you'll still have to speak about them for the sake of like, oh, extend me your sigil magic so I can get you off your knees, like that sort of thing. But not it's not it shouldn't really be a thing, you know, because we won't be able to see people with it anymore.
In the website, it says that vampires can identify Mitz Talam and vampires. Is this an so? Not Mitz. Will probably need to update that because of Vlir's change to the Mitz, but vampires and Talams, yes. Mitz would smell identical to humans to them.
Talams all have some like should have also have some freaky features. They have like, you know, animal
Yeah.
faces or vines growing in their hair. And then
Features that are distinctly non-human for the most
and
part.
most vampires should be the same. Vampires are not in our lore innately human passing. Like you could maybe get away
Yeah.
with it if you're a very normal looking vampire and you get lucky about only coming out during like the day or the night rather, but it should be pretty obvious that you're an
Will the
undead creature of the
descendants
night.
pay the Vampire Hunter Guild to murder werewolves? I don't even know how to unpack that one.
I'm not going to answer that question. Moving on.
If through heavy RP I find a way to make a human age slower, can he reach season? So the Vlur said it in our first community meeting. The time skip's going to be small enough for humans to survive both seasons. You should not need something like de-aging unless you start as like an 80-year-old human for a reason. In which case, approach us in an RPO ticket and we'll consider it. I'm likely to lean no, but there's always room to be like, well. So that's kind of the answer. Can we get like info on the? No, I just answered
We just
this.
answered that question. We'll have the finalized like tier 1. We'll give I think that we're giving all of the
Like
examples of like
all of
fully what tier
them.
1 can do. Um but
Oh, okay.
that'll be finalized once we've finalized all of the spells for all 3 tiers. So, no. We don't have it ready yet. It should be done sometime in the next like 2 weeks.
Before whitelist,
Mm-hmm.
I can't give you a more concrete date than that. It's dependent on our free time to some extent. What is it that we as humans are experiencing that leads us to know something is wrong? So beings appear around you. I cannot give you more than that.
You know how like the cursed like the corrupt blood makes little like ghosties appear and they try to stab you?
You
That.
will have that effect for the portion of this plot line. That's our fizz rep for what is happening to
Those
you.
ghosts, so they want your guts. As far as seeing Stilgemage locations on the map, is that a mechanical restriction or something that we're just asked to RP? You literally will not be able to see the dots anymore. They're
We
gonna be
have
gone.
mechanically enabled it. You will still see their name and health on the side of your screen, but have we? How have we ruled about feeling the health state of people? Has that discussion happened?
I don't think it's happened yet. Stay tuned. We'll discuss it.
That's to be announced. I from the way the conversation went initially, I think it was you'll still be able to tell if they're in danger, just not where.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have a vague sense of
With sigil changes, how are sigil mates going to find injured sigil members?
they're not.
Yeah. Send them a bat. Better communicate about where you're going. It's just like real life. Dad could go to the store and never come back.
If I hold a Bright Haven citizenship, am I required to live in this city? No. So for clarification, the closer you are to the origin wolf, the less control you have as a wolf. Correct. Basically, if origin wolf number 1 bites you, you are now wolf number 2. You're hella out of control. It's very instinctual, very animalistic in nature. If you're wolf number 8, it's watered down quite a bit. Several people are typing.
Doing such a good job. Look at all these cats bongoing. They're also doing a good job. I too have hearts.
Maybe TR? I don't actually know on that one. I don't know if it dilutes the transformation. I think it just dilutes the
No,
emotions or feelings.
it purely dilutes instincts. So like the instinct to turn everybody that you love, the instinct to be very territorial, very obsessive, very possessive. Those things are what is diluted. You're no matter what stage you're at, you're the big same hairy two-legged wolf.
So will vampirism and lycanthropy be able to be healed this season through heavy research? Vlair said it at some point, and I think Naku and Duke also said it. Not this season, but this is a 2-season long arc, and if the time investment is there, it's on the table for the second season if enough effort is presented.
I will say, in order for a cure to be a reality, players will have to fully uncover this season the hows and the whys that lycanthropy and vampirism exist. And then next season, you can begin to explore cures.
Correct.
Like kind of like the reverse engineering. But if somebody's only working on the cure in season 4, I don't realistically think that they would have enough time to get there because it's a lot. So yeah, if you want to work on the cure, you got to start season 3 and you can maybe finish at end of season 4. But it's going to be something that's very complicated. It has a couple of like very set in lore. This is how you do it, and there's like one option. So if you don't find that one option, no cures will work.
Werewolves have a desire to get closer to others within pack bonds. Well, that means they can kind of sense where others are, or just that they don't like being alone.
It is strictly the latter. You have no sense of like direction, no sense of health or emotional state of the other werewolf beyond they're alive. But it's sort of like you get anxious when they're not around. They're your buddy, you want to see them. And so werewolves get sad or distressed if their pack mates are away from them for long periods of time. It's a source of anxiety. So you have an instinct to be close to them and to stay close to them. But then of course, werewolves, because they spend so much time together, they get very, very, very tight knit because they're under each other's feet all the time.
To answer your next question, yes, werewolves would want to also turn mitts. They may or may not find out that it doesn't work, but won't stop them from wanting to.
I will say, if you're a mitt and you get bitten, critical injury state by a werewolf, you do not get the bite sickness. It just doesn't happen. It's just a bite and it hurts. Ow.
So say you lose your Brighthaven citizenship if you kill the V-Bloods that are associated with the citizenship. Do we know which ones they are? I think Vlair, if he doesn't already, will have a list of all of your friendly NPCs. But also, kind of, if you walk up to them and they don't attack you, you can assume they're on your friendly list.
Yep. Every single V-Blood is a part of a team. So if they don't attack you, assume that they're a part of your team and you shouldn't kill them.
But I'll see if we're gonna publish that. I thought it was already under the citizenship thing, but I could be wrong. And I can always go update that. Citizenship. I see. Nope. We'll see about getting those published. Are there any physical or biological evidence or differences that are evident on the human forms of werewolves? No.
Nope, they should very distinctly be just little guys. When you're not in your wolf form, you have no wolf features.
For example, however, are werewolf humans stronger than a normal human? I'm assuming you mean in human form. And do they display any animal instincts or reactions while in human form?
So, in general, your instincts are weaker when it's 1, not nighttime, and 2, when you're not transformed. But only to a negligible amount. You're still a werewolf, after all. You're basically just your wolf running around in human skin, right? So even while you're in human form, you still have all of your werewolf instincts. They might be a little bit quieter, a little easier to ignore. Um, you, I assume, would have some degree of physical strength, stronger than a human, but it shouldn't be anything like insane. You're not Kratos. Um, you can probably just punch better than the average human a little bit, maybe carry 100 pounds more.
And then the second part of his question, which is, what are the internal biological differences when examining a werewolf human compared to a normal? I think that's a find out in character one,
Yep,
isn't
that
it?
is absolutely a find out in character question. Can werewolves
Can
talk?
werewolves talk?
That's up to you. They sure can. You don't have
The
to if you
answer
don't
is
want
they
to.
have the capability. We
Yep.
see that with what's his name in the Werewolf Village anyway.
Yeah, Wilfred talks shit loudly while a dog.
Are we considering the Vampire Hunters Guild aligned with a particular citizenship, or are we separating them? If this is just the same answer as the general list question earlier, you can ignore. I don't know anything about
I
this
do.
one.
I
That's
know
a
the
you
answer to this
question.
question. So, the Vampire Hunters Guild is a distinctly neutral entity. They do not consider themselves a part of the Luminance Church. They do not consider themselves a part of any particular nation. They are very distinctly like a-religious, apolitical, so that they can help everyone everywhere. So,
Or kill.
or kill everyone everywhere. So you can assume that the vampire hunters around the map, because they do not get attacked by the militia and they do not get attacked by Brighthaven, they're probably on good terms or were hired by those two factions in some capacity. They're certainly not enemies, but they are not one and the same. So, to answer your question, they're buddies, but they're two distinct organizations.
So say my werewolf sire is pretty close to the origin, but I have my character having been a werewolf for some time, like 4 years. Would it be reasonable to have her be quite in control of her wolf side at this point, or just well in sync with it?
Yep, it's really the flavor of how much or how little you want your werewolf to like be in control of themselves or not be in control of themselves is purely up to you.
Would denying MedRP to a human in need require a conflict? Huh. No?
No,
Nobody can force you to give aid, and there is more than one doctor, I'm sure.
there's so many doctors from what
Um,
I've seen. I'm gonna say no, and I think that if somebody were to bleed in a situation where another character, for in-character reasons, refused to give somebody med RP, that would probably be like a bleed issue at that point. So we would either bring you into a conflict ticket or talk to them in disciplinary if they're crashing out
yeah.
about somebody else's
No, but
character
nobody can
choice.
force you to provide aid if you
Yeah.
don't wish to. I don't think they can replenish their blood pool, Vero, but the hour-long debuff that comes from taking a critical injury can be removed from a doctor's ability. But I don't think it refills the blood pool.
I don't think so either.
Correct. They can do it for humans to some extent, if I remember right, but not werewolves. This is a you question. If a human commits enough crimes, will the Hunters Guild also come after them too? Like they would if they were a vampire? Or is it just the guards from Silverlight will introduce you to the wrong end of their longsword?
So, the Vampire Hunters Guild responds to all manners of atrocity and every flavor of atrocity around the world. So, if you are a human and you are committing crimes against humanity, they will, and the for whatever reason the militia or the people of Silverlight, they're like, yeah, like we've seen him kick Azariel's ass, we don't think we can kill him. Yeah, they'll probably call the Vampire Hunters Guild on you. That the Vampire Hunters Guild, like, they're named for what they primarily did. That's not all they do anymore. They're an international peacekeeping quote unquote organization. So if you're committing war crimes on Maine as a human, they'll absolutely deem you inhuman and come kill your ass. Yeah, monsters aren't just supernatural, it's your vibes.
Human license revoked.
By
30 years
force.
vampire. I'm not answering that one.
I'll give it a check mark. We can keep moving. All right, does anyone else have any other questions?
How do werewolves eat their pancakes?
Where
Depends.
it depends
Are
on the
you eating it as a
werewolf.
human or as a dog?
Yeah.
Fleas
Fleas.
is up to you.
Yeah, that's up to you.
Personally, my werewolf like chocolate chip pancakes.
I made myself chocolate chip pancakes for breakfast this morning.
That's pretty good.
All right, I'm gonna give it like 5 more minutes. If a human gets a critical injury and survived it, how much damage is it to the body? Like a broken arm or even a lost arm, for an example. A critical injury needs to be something severe enough that if left untreated for 3 in real life days, it would reasonably cause your character to die. You probably wouldn't die from a broken arm, but you could die from a severed arm or you could die from like a stab wound. So the critical injury should be treated as something that is potentially fatal. It's not just a bumper scrape, you know?
Can werewolves eat chocolate chip pancakes in dog form? Yes. Werewolves do not get instincts to bite vampires or to glom. Question
Correct.
mark?
And I would say if a werewolf is aware that a mitt is a mitt and therefore something that just inherently cannot be turned into a werewolf, their instinct to bite them would probably go down with that knowledge too.
And when they, yeah.
Yeah.
That next question also up to you. Do werewolves prefer raw meat or cooked?
Yeah.
Is meat preferable? Their diet is up to you.
That's up to
Although I
you.
do think they're all carnivorous. I don't think there's any vegan werewolves.
No, I don't feel like you'd get enough like iron content. You'd probably start dying. You're like a cat, you're an obligate carnivore. You probably have to consume some degree of meat, but how you like to eat it is up to you.
When killing V-Bloods, are we saying the werewolves start playing fetch with how you rob them or steal their knowledge or absorb them is entirely up to you. If you're going to do something extremely gory, like players have in the past, you are expected to give a parentheses, like, warning for anyone that is in your range to see what you are about to do. That is my courtesy ask. Some people have done it in the past, some people haven't. That has been my ask since the beginning of the season.
We've said really, really hard this entire time. There is absolutely no way to turn any of our races except for humans into vampires or humans into werewolves at all this season. So there's no, you cannot turn a Talam into a werewolf, you cannot turn a Mitt into a werewolf, you cannot turn a vampire into a Mitt or a werewolf into a vampire. It's humans into the vampire or werewolf pipeline, and that's it.
If a werewolf eats a human, does he have a chance to get infected by the illness? No. I can't tell you why, but the answer is no.
I'm gonna say they have insane antibodies and bacteriums in their mouths. So you're good. You don't need to worry about bloodborne illnesses. You're a magical dog.
Well, that's assuming it's bloodborne.
I mean, you can, if you want to like be like, okay, I bit a Talam, what happens to them? I guess you can open up an RPO ticket, but most of the time it'll be they have a flesh wound.
So V-Bloods are protected. There will be a way to get their knowledge through your citizenship. I don't know if he's published the details of the how, but I think it's like, I think you either get a command or you just come pre-baked with it. I forgot what he did for it. But he's done something.
I believe because people that are citizenships of Brighthaven, like you won't get Azariel until Azariel unlocks. So what I believe it is that you will have a command that you can use once the boss has been unlocked for the whole server. Yeah.
So there you go. You will have a way to get the knowledge without fighting them. It will
But
just be
if you're like
conscript.
if you're a Brighthaven citizen, you're not just gonna like start with Baron. You'll get Baron after he's available to murder. Yeah, you can bite crunch.
Bite crunch is fine. I'm talking. See, I don't even want to say it out loud because it feels weird.
If you
But
talk
basically,
about
any
eating entrails in graphic detail,
yeah,
please warn other players first, or
just a
just don't
just
do
a
it.
quick parentheses gore warning. Yeah, or ideally don't do it or save it for your journal, where you can easily spoiler things in Discord. But if you feel the need that it is very necessary to do it in game for some reason, just do a quick gore warning in parentheses and then proceed. That gives hopefully people time to get out of type distance if they're squeamish to such things. It's been said that you don't have to defend V-Bloods of your citizenship. Is there any benefits for doing so? If you journal it and bring it to an RPO ticket, we'll see. I'm not going to promise anything because I don't know the full scope of the plans there, but
because we are trying to make citizenship kind of more flavor text than it is an active plot, probably nothing grand. Like maybe we'll give you some gold or something, but it's not going to be anything large.
Can we flavors the ghosties that materialize and stab us as looking like people who have died? Yes. If whatever version of trauma these things look like to you is completely up to you to decide what they look like. They are all. I can't even say that, it's too much information. The rest of it you'll have to find out in character. I think this is a low to mid. I think this is a low magic season, right? Because magic only cropped up a short while ago.
This is a high magic season, but everyone's knowledge and ability starts at low magic because magic's only been around for the majority of people for 5 years. Vampires have only previously had access to blood magic, like they didn't have access to shadow, they didn't have access to ritualism. So even the vampires, they're like they can do crazy bongo shit with just blood magic. But all other forms of magic are so new that even though it's a high magic setting, nobody is, walking on water yet, sort of thing. Everyone's a baby.
Does Wilfred count as Dunley? I don't think he's part of the Dunley citizenship, to my knowledge.
He does not. Gracefall is their own team. Werewolves. That's why werewolves get attacked by the militia when they walk around. And no, you cannot join the Gracefall team.
The affliction that appeared 5 years ago has always been ever since you have gotten afflicted with it. Yes, you have. Kill is a loose definition, but they have always been attempting to harm you. Yep. Sorry, I missed that part of the question. Is one race more magic strong than another? Find out in character. I don't even know the answer to that question, so. Thank you, Potts. Do the V-Bloods related to the Church of the Damned remove your citizenship?
No, they wouldn't. Because
hold on, I'm struggling with the wording of this one.
It's even though the Cult of the Damned bosses are primarily in Dundlee, they're a part of the Cult of the Damned team. They're not a part of the militia team. It's like if Bane and Vincent run into each other, they'll beat the tar out of each other.
Right.
It's strictly Dundlee Farmlands team is strictly militia NPCs. So like Christina, Meredith, Tristan, Jade,
Grandma,
Quincy.
Well, I will say,
what's his name?
If you walk up on Grandma in demon form, her faction has changed. She will attack you.
I believe Maha is her own. I don't think she has a tag, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yes. Going into werewolf form would make citizen people. We don't have a way to negate that currently. Going into werewolf form forces you into the werewolf faction.
Yeah. So, and if keep in mind that if you're like, if a lot of Dundlee NPCs were to, if we see a lot of, like, if we see you transform into a werewolf and then bite the shit out of Beatrice, Beatrice will now know that you're a werewolf, and we will remove your tag accordingly.
Yeah, think of it like the couple wandering werewolves that walk around Dundlee as it is. Your faction works exactly like theirs. While you're in human form, you're probably friendly to the rest of everything that's around Dundlee. Soon as you transform, they forget that you were their neighbor and will assault you. Yeah. So mechanically, they are part of Dunley Epsilon because that's something hard coded in the game we can't change. But in our lore, those three are part of their own faction, the Vampire Hunters Gang Guild, whatever the G stands for.
That
Yes.
said, don't circumvent if you are like a secret myth or a secret werewolf. Please don't like circumvent vampire hunter aggro while you're doing obviously things inhuman just because you have the Dunley tag. If we catch you doing that, it's an immediate citizenship revoke.
Would that if they were a gaggle, wouldn't that mean they're geese?
Yeah,
I thought geese were the only one that
they
get
can be
gaggle.
gooses. Can you explain what
Can
you
you
just warned
explain?
against? So all of the in-game mobs have a tag on them. So they're either Transcendum, Venom Blade, Cursed Forest Creature, Normal Forest Creature. That team's called Bear. Fun fact. Dunley Farmlands, Bandit, or like Silverlight. So some of those teams are allied, so like Militia and Luminance factions. They won't attack each other. Paladins won't attack militiamen or vice versa, but both of them will attack Transcendum. If we see you as a player that has the Dunley Farmlands tag doing stupid magical, I'm very obviously a secret mitt in front of V-Bloods or just like in the middle of Dunley in front of God and everyone, we will take away your tag. Because if the NPCs would not, like, if you go in and you slaughter the town of Brighthaven for 3 hours straight as somebody who's a mitt who has the Dunley faction tag, and we catch you doing that, we will remove the Dunley faction tag because you just spent 3 hours murdering your neighbors. It's sort of it's a fail
So,
RP thing, you know? So if you're a part of the Dunley faction, don't go around murdering Dunley NPCs unless you want us to take it away from you.
tags will be based off which citizenship you decide to partake in, if you decide to partake in it. I'm pretty sure it's optional. You don't have to be a citizen.
It's optional, and it should only be something you get if your character in their backstory lives in Vardarin at season start. So if they live in Rustlock, they have Transcendum tag. If they live in Dunley, they have the Dunley tag. If they live in Brighthaven, they have the Brighthaven tag. But if you're not going to live in any of those places and your character is a career bandit who's been living in Farbane their entire life, you shouldn't have any of those tags because it doesn't make sense for your backstory.
I don't think we're giving this out, but could werewolf players theoretically get Cursed Forest citizenship? I don't even think they're tied to the Cursed Forest.
They have absolutely no correlation between what makes a werewolf and what is the Cursed Forest in our current lore. I do not think that anyone will take the appropriate steps to gain Cursed Forest citizenry. I'm not saying no, but I'm saying that you'd have to put your whole back into it, and it would probably be at least a half a season's worth of effort and a lot of fuck around and find out.
Yeah, but not for tag stuff. Like it's weird. Depending on some citizenships will have the option to start, like Rustlocks can start in Rustlock Village, which is in Gloom South. It's somewhere over there.
With character creation this time, you'll apply tags to yourself, and then it's like when you give the Brighthaven tag to yourself, you'll just teleport to Brighthaven. It'll just dump you right on the docks.
If we aren't a citizen, will we be aggroed by mobs based off our race?
You'll just be aggroed by all mobs if you aren't a citizen.
Yeah.
Vardarin is in this lore is a very small community, so the in-character reason why the militia attacks you even though you're a human is because they've never seen your ass before, and there's always the potential of you being a monster. So there's not any particular reason why they attack you if you're not visibly a vampire or a werewolf. They're just attacking you because they don't know who you are, and there's scary monsters running around killing everybody en masse right now.
I'll highlight what Pot said because it's important to what we're talking about. Your fellow players who are citizens can also report you. If you turn into a werewolf in front of like 5 people with the citizenship and they report you, your citizenship will get stripped. So do keep that in mind. What kind of injury does cutting off a werewolf's tail sustain when they're human again?
They ain't got no butt cheeks. Next question.
There you go. Werewolves cannot dominate.
Yes, Vero asked if just transforming was enough. Yes, Rustlock is the only citizenship that will not kick you out for being a werewolf. If you are a werewolf in Dunley, you will get kicked out of the Dunley faction if anyone reports you transforming or you transform in front of us in front of a V-Blood. Same with Silverlight. They don't want Mitts, they don't want werewolves. So if you get discovered for being either of those in the Dunley or the Silverlight factions, you will get kicked out.
So can werewolves dominate? The answer is no. There's a system in place for getting employees that's going to be published. It was available to humans last season, but it will be available to everyone this season. How would you report them? Would you... Well, it'll probably be a lot of word of mouth, to be honest. Like, people will write bets or send letters or just run into NPCs, or they might find someone from the Vampire Hunters Guild and just tell them directly. Who knows?
Honestly, my recommendation would be if you see another character turn into a werewolf and you want to report it, just open an RPO ticket and then we'll set up a specific admin for you to like write a letter to if that's what you want to do.
There you go. There's a concrete answer. Brighthaven citizens teleport to the docks, but what part of Dunley will I don't remember what village.
I think it just dumps you in Mosswick.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Mosswick Village.
Yeah, pretty sure. I could be wrong. Somewhere in Dunley.
What happens if you transform and then run across a V-Blood of the same citizenship? Theoretically, they wouldn't know it's your character. Does that mean you can attack and kill them? If you aren't caught, potentially?
Yeah, you could go kill Vincent while fully in werewolf form, but you know, if the sun rises and you get caught, or
if somebody sees you when you untransform who witnessed you killing them. Can werewolves do partial transformations? I don't think so. Naku? Partial?
No, you cannot.
Okay. Can you explain the report? Oh, this isn't just a report a werewolf character. This is so with the citizenship system, you are expected to be friendly towards other NPCs and players of your citizenship free. That's a word. Yep. And so if you see someone doing something against their citizenship and you think they should have their citizenship revoked, you open an RPO ticket. We'll discuss the storyline we want to tell with you and who you might write to talk to about it, whether that's the local town leader or someone directly with the Vampire Hunters Guild gang, whatever the G stands for. And they will discuss whether or not they get their citizenship removed. Is there a minimum time requirement spent for living somewhere to get citizenship? I butchered the wording of that. I don't know the answer to that. That's a Vlair question.
I think it's like 2 weeks of in-character effort was what we decided, but I could be wrong. That's something we can ask Vlair to clarify.
Yeah, that might be a citizenship question that I don't have the answer to at the moment. I will forward this over to him, actually. Here's me and Vlair's DMs. Oh, for backstory not during season. Will vampires and other races be able to do vanilla werewolf form? Not. I think you're getting it confused. There is no vanilla werewolf form. There's a wolf form, and yes, vampires still have access to it.
So, for backstory stuff, an amount of time. Just, I'm gonna say probably 6 months in character. You earned your way into the community through effort and trade or something. Just give them a sufficient reason, or you were born there, or you moved there.
We are coming up on 2 minutes to the top of the hour, so we are gonna stop taking questions. We're gonna answer what's here, but we're gonna stop taking new questions at this point.
Yeah, no, Veru, it was correct that you can only transform into your big wolf at night, and I believe you can do your all fours run during the day as well.
Yeah, so to finish answering a question I saw somewhere but have lost, if you are trying to determine the difference between a werewolf in wolf's form and a vampire in wolf form, you cannot. They both look like wolves to you.
Yes, you can only have one citizenship at a time, strictly because the tags fuck with one another, and so if you have more than one tag on, it will take whichever one was there first. So it's just the mechanics of the game. They won't let you have more than one tag, so you have to choose one. Yeah. That said...
Trust me, we've tried.
Yes, that said, Brighthaven and Dunley are allies, so if you have one citizenship, you'll be able to go to the other place without getting stabbed.
To follow up, so there's no transforming a hand or claw. Correct. No partial transformation.
Yep, you are a dog, a big dog, or a human. No partial transformations. But just the way werewolf works. Sorry, it's got lore reasons.
Probably tastes like humans taste. You answered that one. Being a citizen, can you still commit a singular murder charge and do it be due to RP reasons? Can you be taken potentially if other citizens of that citizenship wanted to put you in a court for it and hold a trial? Yes. If they just straight up report you, the leadership of that citizenship is not likely to hold a trial for you.
We do not want the citizenship to create a bunch of admin work where we're having to all of a sudden do a bunch of RP trials. That would be a big undertaking if every single time somebody goofed up, we were having to hold an in-character trial. So unless your peers want to do a completely player-driven event to play that out, no, we won't be taking that on as an admin undertaking.
There you go. Silverlight bosses are off limits for Dunley folk and vice versa. Yes, because I think they're allied,
yeah,
right?
they're allies. Like, if you are hanging out with a bunch of Dunley humans and they see you murder a priest of luminance, they'd probably be like, hey, Mr. Mayor, that guy murdered a priest of luminance. That's fucked up. You know?
Like I said, all the citizenships will have a way to earn the boss unlocks without you needing to fight them. Alright. This will be the last question because it came in before I shut off the channel.
Player-driven courts are okay, but citizenship is strictly curtain dressing for your character to make it feel like they are truly a Vardaran native. But it is not something that we will be backing up with NPCs. It's not something that we will be dedicating a lot of time to. There's not going to be NPCs that you can write letters to beyond, like, I want to report Joe Bob for doing a crime. We really, really want citizenship to be, it's strictly like flavor and decorative text for your character for you to feel like, oh, I can be a Dunley farmer and my neighbors aren't killing me. That's cool. It's strictly for that sort of flavor. We really, really, really do not want it to turn into something that creeps into a lot of admin work. So it's strictly designed to be flavor text.
That is going to be the end of the meeting. So thank you all for coming. If you have more questions, we'll have more Q&A style stuff. I won't say that any of them will be specific, like werewolf and human only, like this one was. But if you have more questions, you can either ask them tickets. Some of them can go and ask for help, or you can wait for the next.
Friendly reminder, because I've had about 6 instances of this week. Please do not DM admins with requests to have them answer questions. Please open a ticket. Our DMs are not an avenue for that.
You mean to tell me we're people outside of this server? That's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's the best way to ensure that somebody who's in their admin chair with their admin hat on will see it as quickly as possible. All right, that said, I am going to go ahead and stop the recording.